How you doing, Ed?
Morning.
How is everybody this Saturday morning?
Hunky dory.
Well, good. Good. That sounds good. Hunky dory. I haven't heard that in a minute. This is our Shut Up Money show, the Saturday edition. This is a public Q&A. If you're out there watching, we want to welcome you. You can be my guest here in the Zoom room. Feel free to join in. www.zoomjustin.com. That's how you find us. We're supposed to have a guest today that's going to be an expert on mobile homes. Okay. If something happens and he doesn't make it, and I don't know why, I just got a feeling he might not make it. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling. If he doesn't make it, we'll just have to do some Justin Q&A, as I guess, about things other than mobile homes. I know a little bit about mobile homes. Well, here's Michael Batista. It's good to see everybody, though. I'm glad you're here. We're pretty chill around Real Estate Wholesalers Club. So,
hey, Justin, I'm jealous.
There we go. What's going on, man?
What's that? Hey, what's going on, dude? What are you jealous about, LaShonda?
I see you with your prop string mug.
Oh, yeah.
I see you.
You saw me flexing?
Yeah, I see you flexing.
Prop string. How'd you get one of those?
I'm flexing with the.
Did you ask for one?
No, this is placement advertising. I'm just kidding. No, I got it for Christmas. They sent it to me as a Christmas gift.
That's pretty cool.
It had like jelly beans in it or something.
Nothing wrong with that.
And this is the first time I've ever used it. It had like a couple pencils in it and like a paper clip or something. So I washed it out. I thought, well, what the heck? I'll get on there and flex with this today. Just ain't nobody got one but me. No, I'm just kidding. I bet there's a bunch of those out there.
I got a question for Michael since I see he's on here.
Yeah, well, Michael's in Peru and LaShonda is in Kansas City. And she got a question for you down there in old Peru.
Well, what's going on?
Yes, Michael. My question is, in the automated REI, like when I do a scrape, it'll say it found 150. But then when I go to download it, it may only be 120, but it's still charging me for the 150.
Okay. All right. So it scraped 100. Oh, it said it found 150. It only came back with 120.
Right.
All right. Just send us an email and we'll get it corrected.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it taken care of.
Typically, the best way, I'll just throw this little gold nugget out there about automated REI. We talk about it all the time. Talk about it every day.
Yeah.
The best way to get a hold of them is to tag Two-Seef. Okay, so become friends with Two-Seef on Facebook. Send him a friend request. And then just tag him or send him a direct message. Either way, for whatever reason, they're on Facebook, like pretty much ready to go answer messages whenever you need help. Okay, so that's like how they like to do it, it seems, and that's okay. So just use it that way, right? If you, I tag them all the time. Okay, I tag them all the time. Now you can email them, you can call them and leave a message if they don't answer, and you can send a support ticket in, and you can do all that. But I'm just telling you the best way. Tag Two-Seef. Sometimes Michael,
that's fastest,
is not even the best person to tag or to talk to, because Two-Seef is actually the guy with his hands in the machine. You know what I mean? All right, guys.
for real.
That's a good question though. So Automated REI very responsive if you use the tag system there typically. So if you need help, guys, being VIP pays. If you're a one-on-one student of mine, you're in that chat room, they're in there. You could tag them in there and just have a kind of a, you know, man-to-man conversation about it or whatever.
For real.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what's going on, Michael? It's good to see you, dude. He's in Peru. If everybody doesn't know,
had a hell of a week, that's for sure.
yeah, I bet, dude. He went back down to Peru last week.
Yep.
So the internet may be a little spotty for Michael today.
It is, yeah.
In his current location. Where are you exactly in Peru?
I am in the capital. I'm in Lima. Lima, Peru.
Nice. Nice.
Which is kind of crazy because we're in like the nicest district.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we have spotty internet. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's weird. Yeah. Are you at like a hotel or like a what kind of like a Airbnb or something? Or?
No, we're in a we're like in an apartment. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's how it was built. Maybe it's got metal. Have y'all ever been in like I can't get a text message out of Walmart, you know?
Well, that's part of it. Over here in Peru, like every building is made out of concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything. They don't have drywall here.
Wow.
That doesn't even exist. That's like because of I guess the air.
Yeah.
I think it's the humidity or whatever, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow. Interesting.
I've never seen anything like it, but you know, being in a different country.
I've never seen anything like that either. That's interesting. Was it like stucco or something on the outside of the concrete? Or
no, not even. Just poured concrete, painted. That's it.
Okay.
Just everything.
That's cool.
Just straight up painted.
Cool. It gives it that special flavor too. It's like makes it look like Peru. Yeah, right?
Well,
I mean, the architecture is
so.
unique, is what I'm saying. The architecture is unique to that area, is what I'm getting at.
Well, that typically or historically that would have been the case. That a lot of the houses that would have been, considered old architecture has been pretty much demolished, and they're just putting up condos everywhere. Like,
oh wow,
in this part of the city, especially, it's all condos, everything.
So they're being gentrified.
Yeah, everything. It sucks.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You know,
it's crazy. I was reading an article this morning that said that the home mortgage rates have had the largest week-to-week increase this week in over a year. And how they were talking about how you can borrow money, until the raise this week of the home mortgage rates, you could buy a house for $150,000 and your payment would be about $650 and or $620. Yeah. And now it would be $650. Okay. And I'm thinking still so cheap, right? And they're talking about that being a like an indicator of the cooling off of the real estate market a little bit. And they're also talking about it being an indicator that, well, they're still expecting a strong sales summer, though. That's what this article said. So I thought that was pretty interesting, man. I don't know if anybody else has seen anything of that nature in the last day or two, but I've seen some things on Facebook, some of our colleagues, are talking about in their market area. It's like there's a transition happening. It's starting to cool down and starting to become more of a, there's a seller's market and then there's a buyer's market, and there's kind of a pendulum that swings in between the two.
Yeah.
And the pendulum is kind of swinging back towards the buyer's side now. So interesting. Anybody see anything about that kind of thing? I think that's important for us to kind of know a little bit. Anybody see any articles on that?
Not here in Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
Not here.
Yeah, still raging hot fire, inferno market.
Yeah, same thing with Mercer County, New Jersey too.
I don't know that it's much different here in Kansas City either yet. I have, I'll find out in time, but I don't think it's made much of a difference. Maybe slightly in some neighborhoods, perhaps. But still, we're talking about like the difference between what was it, 2.8 to now 3.2 or something. It's like it's still seriously low.
But it's coming though. It's coming.
Yes.
We're probably going to get a little tiny little rush when the rates start creeping up, and then we're going to get a leveling off after that if the rates continue to go up, because everybody knows rates go up, property values stabilize, and maybe even dip a little bit. Rates go down, property values go up.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, but I think we take that for granted a little bit, guys like you and me, Vernon. I did not understand that until a realtor explained it to me. It was a great number of years ago, but I'm very thankful that a realtor explained that to me about how mortgage rates versus prices, sellers markets versus buyers markets. That might be something good that we talk about here for just a couple minutes for folks that are pretty new. I try to not assume that folks know things, although I do fall victim to that a lot. And I'm sorry if you're in the club, especially, just stop me if there's something we're talking about. But yeah, anybody here want to explain the relationship real quickly between mortgage rates or the federal interest rate that gets set, and then home prices and the relationship of sellers markets in there and buyers markets? I'm sorry, go ahead, Vernon.
Yeah. I said that's with everything. That's even with the stock market. When the interest rates start going up and you get better rates in the bond market, the stock market usually take a dive. And people have to qualify for a mortgage. More people qualify for a mortgage, there's a bidding war, the price of the housing go up. If people can't qualify for money, then there's no bidding war. Then it's less demand for the housing, and the prices stabilize or dip a little bit. But everything is subject to location.
That's true.
That was a good explanation. Anybody want to tag on to Vernon?
Well, only thing I was going to address is he's absolutely right. Whether you're going to see your big guys go into bonds or your hedge guys go into bonds versus get out of the market. But also, anytime you have a supply and demand issue versus like there's some people that maybe even on this call, I don't know where everybody's from, that you have more of a diaspora of people exiting an area. Well, therefore, you have an amazing amount of supply of properties being trying to be sold. So, and you have less people trying to buy them, except people like us that recognize that it's all going to level off and it's a good time to buy because you can get a good opportunity there. But the other people are coming into other environments and therefore the supply is going down, but the demand is going. I mean, I'm watching several people from here to Waco to Austin in the country, and even my own stuff I'm listing is getting immediate things and getting 4 to 12 grand above asking. So I've got to rethink my thinking. But simultaneously, if you're going to do a flip right now, you got to really think about it because cost of materials have gone up 2 or 3 times too. So there's a lot of variables that are going on. Is if we're wise, you don't ever want to try to control the market. You just want to be the back on the dog's tail, just bobbing and just go with it. You can make money in every market. You just have to identify where you are. Don't get stuck in one thing. Just keep doing real estate strategies. Just go with the market. The market will tell you what to do. That's no different than what Vernon's talking about with buying bonds versus stocks. They don't try to control it. They just ride with it.
It's all supply and demand oriented, right?
Yes, it is.
There's a supply of houses and there's a supply of availability of money, right?
Well, think about it. I mean, these banks, all they are businesses of money, businesses of moving money. That's purely it. They get money at 0.01 and they lend it out at 3. No matter what way you shake it, that's a win all day long. They're getting money for free and then lending it out and making a return.
Do you have a dog, Michael?
There's a dog somewhere in another condo. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God.
Take car sales. When people aren't buying cars, what are they going to do? They're going to throw out incentives, and they're also going to throw out monopoly money, which is zero interest, which we all know there's no such thing as zero interest. So you bought a car you didn't really want, but you bought a rate. And what Vernon was saying was your ability to qualify is going to get, the belt's going to get tighter and looser based on when they got to get the product out, they're going to get looser on what they qualify people for. It's no different.
It's all interesting. Somebody brought it up, but I don't remember who it was. Maybe Kenny, maybe Vernon, about the fix and flippers. And, at some point too, you don't want to get caught holding the bag, right? It's almost like musical chairs,
Yeah.
And that's what I'd be worried about. Like, hey, I'm taking on a 6-month long project here, hopefully 4 months, but something like that. And then, do I have that kind of time before things really change?
Yeah, this kind of market right here, what changed a lot of big fix and flippers to develop rental portfolios maybe about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah, because they were forced into being landlords. Yeah.
Right.
Listen, like Garth Brooks says, thank God for an extra
but also some of them started wholesaling.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, they started diversifying their portfolio.
I see a lot of people with rental properties nowadays. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've all heard stories of people as we were getting started where they were forced into being a landlord more than they wanted to be. And they had to work their way out of it. And several years later, some of them still had those properties because to hold it together, they held it together and went, didn't go under. But I had one recently that I made an offer in January and we're supposed to close early February, and they got a little waffly. And to me, it was like, thank God for answered prayers, because it was the best thing that ever happened. They came back to me 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, but I didn't know that we were about to get double and triple prices on some of the materials I was using. I wouldn't have lost money, but my time would have been spent and I wouldn't have made any money. And my only exit was doing that. Now, it's okay. We wound up putting a deal together, but they had understanding and they had to get better understanding. And we did a deal. And even though the value of the rehab, it went up, right now I'm in a current high demand situation. So I know it'll work its way out. But at first I was glad to hit the brakes on me.
Yeah. So lots of things we got on the horizon here, folks. Bob G here in the chat says interest rates go down, your ability to buy more goes up. Your monthly payment can be bigger because less is made up by interest. DTI. Thank you for your comment, Bob. Glad you're a part of this thing here today. Everybody else too, glad you're a part of it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating with us. If you want to be in the Zoom room, you can be www.zoomjustin.com. We are realestatewholesalerclub.com. Okay. If you want to check us out. But if you want to be in the Zoom room, it's www.zoomjustin.com. We have about 18 folks here in the room with us today. Ed, hailing from the Northeast. Larry, Vernon, I think Ed's Northeast, right? Right? Up there in New England area?
Midwest, Indianapolis.
I'm way off. I'm sorry, Ed.
Heard that's a great market over there in Indianapolis.
I go for a lobster roll though.
Beautiful, beautiful stadium. I've driven through Indianapolis on the interstate, and beautiful. You know, you see it out there, and it's wonderful, wonderful, beautiful place. I hear a lot of good things about it.
Good place.
Welcome, Ed, Larry, Vernon, Kenny, Jemiah, Malesio, Michael, Batista, Alan, LaShonda, Anthony, Rick, Addie, Sandra, Kimberly, Aluse, David, Jerry Smith, and we have Mark hopping in here too. Welcome, everybody. We got folks watching from the West Coast to the East Coast, and from, 25% of our viewers are not even from the United States. God bless you. Thank you for watching. I hope you are. Are you entertained? Okay. We had a guest plan today that did not work out. For some reason, we misconnected today. It does happen. I don't know why. I just woke up. I had a gut feeling that was going to happen today, and I said that. It's weird. No other evidence to show for that, but it did end up happening. So we have some free space here. Michael Batista is a wealth of knowledge. He could share some things with us. I'd be happy to share some things, but there's a lot of folks in here in the Zoom. There's even more now. People just piling up in here. I want to do Q&A, guys. And I want to take some questions. And Michael and myself and Mark Richardson and Kenny Wright and everybody in here, let's help one another and answer these questions and get ourselves ready to go for next week. Or let's wrap up this week with a bang. What's happening in your business? What's happening in your lead generation and in your phone calling? Okay. Because that's pretty much what the acquisitions business is, right?
Absolutely.
Alan Bryan, you got your hand up, sir. What's going on, sir?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon to everybody. I just wanted to know if there was a guts way of doing the follow-up call.
The follow-up call, meaning, give me more information. What is that?
They didn't want to do something that day, but it seemed like they got to do something eventually. So, you want to keep tabs and follow up. And I just wanted to know, because all the videos have been showing like the initial call, but I just wanted to see if there was a different guts approach to the follow-up.
Great question. I like
Yeah.
that. Alan, good job.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
Good question. Does anybody have any advice for Alan before I maybe offer some advice? Does anybody have advice here in the Zoom room for Alan? Anyone? We have 20 people in here now. Anybody with some grand wisdom for the follow-up call?
Taking notes.
Yeah.
Taking notes from the previous call, and then go out from there. That way you kind of build rapport back again, and you know who you're talking to. I like to have a notepad, and then on that notepad I'll re-enter it in my computer.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Whatever works for you, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. You can I mean, there's Podio. I mean, you can work with that, but I like putting it on the notepad. It's just easier for me. It's just complicated working on a CRM. Yeah, so that's always worked for me.
Oh no, man! You use a notepad and a pen or a pencil?
Yeah. I
Gosh.
seem to remember. I just feel like I'm more in tune in the conversation, and just I do it the old-fashioned way, man.
I use little index cards. I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
that-
thing,
it just works.
one thing I would mention, Alan, is when you're talking to a seller, understanding that motivation when you're asking them the questions, why is this a beautiful house? Or maybe it's not a beautiful house, but why would you ever want to sell this place? You know, and understanding kind of their process, make sure you bring that motivation back up on that follow-up call. So if they're like, oh, my mother's sick in another state, how's she doing? If you can relate, and there was another guy, RJ Bates the third, and he was saying that building rapport, if you really think about building rapport, it's not about talking about someone's dog or talking about the weather or talking about sports. He said, when you build rapport, you're really just trying to get to the root of their issue or their why, and basically build your conversation around that. And he says, if you do that and you solve the problem in the best way possible, that's in his words, that's building rapport. So when you're building rapport, you're coming back to that. You're emphasizing how you're either going to help them or you're not going to help them. You might not be the best fit. You might not be the best solution to their problem, but kind of like the Pace Morby way, he says, hey, whether I'm the buyer or not, let's talk about the situation. Let's talk about the problem, and I will point you in the right direction. I will give you every roadmap that I possibly can to help solve your problem. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes in this business, and guys, we can't do everything. If we're doing everything, we're not going to be able to do multiple deals. We're going to be spread too thin. So sometimes the best solution is referrals. Referring and establishing relationships with other folks in this business. This might be a retail lead all day long. That's fine. If I got to refer it out to an agent, or if I got to, refer it out to a flipper, or maybe a lease option specialist, or depending on where you are or what strategy you're taking. I know everyone in this group that does something a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
that's just
That's a good
something,
point.
something I wanted to mention here is trying to get back to their root cause. And I think now Justin's the guts guy. He teaches that. I'm not as in tune with that process myself. So I'm interested myself to hear kind of how Justin answers this too. But I know it's definitely that getting back to their root cause. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
That's good. Yeah. All good comments. Let's role play. Let's role play this. Let's role play this phone call, this follow-up phone call. Let's assume it's been 3 weeks since your last episode with this seller. Okay. Is that the kind of follow-up we're talking about here? You put them off for 2 or 3 weeks because they weren't ready to go.
Yep.
All right. Let's assume it's been 3 weeks and you're calling them back out of the blue. All right. Who wants to role play? I need a couple volunteers. And then I'll role play with you too. Anybody? Volunteers. Alan, you be the homeowner.
Okay.
I'll volunteer.
David's going to be the follow-up caller. Welcome, David from New York. Glad you're here, sir. Calling in from New York. Alan's going to answer the phone, and it's been 3 weeks since you've talked. And let's assume that's about all you know, David, other than you felt like there was some level of motivation there. It just wasn't a 7 or 8 or 9 yet, but it was a brooding 6. It was ready to grow. And so it's been 3 weeks. Ring, ring.
Yellow.
Hey, Alan.
Yep.
Hey, it's David. We spoke a couple of weeks ago about the property that you were thinking about selling. I know you said you need some time to think about it. I just want to see if you had come to a decision.
It's still for sale. I've been getting a lot of phone calls about it. Appreciate you following up.
So you've been getting a lot of calls about it. Is there any reason you didn't make a decision yet?
Well, you know, I don't plan on retiring until next year, but I figured I put it out there.
Okay. Did anybody get close to like what you're looking for?
It's close, but all my realtor friends telling me to to set it low and have everybody come in on a feeding frenzy eventually.
Okay. And you know that you're gonna have to pay that 6% commission rate with that realtor, right? You prepared for that?
Oh no, it's not even listed with them. I mean, I just done business with these realtors because I'm a builder, so I've built a lot of the houses around me. So I kind of got them on speed dial.
Okay, so you're a builder, so you're pretty busy, right? I mean, you're pretty busy now in this economy, building more homes and everything.
Now I'm slowing down. Like I said, man, I'm retiring and going down south next year.
So what does that look like for you if you're going to retire and go down south? Like if you were looking to do that right now, what does that look like?
Great question.
It looks like it's not going to be until next year is what it looks like.
If it's not looking like next year, it doesn't sound like you're looking to sell. I mean, like I said, I was looking to buy my next property, and your house looked great, like as a prospective, property that I might be interested in. But if you're not looking to sell, I mean, it looks like we're done here today.
Well, make me move out. Force me to retire early, David. Force me to retire early.
What was your number that you were looking at?
It's right there, man. 800.
Okay, let's time out, guys. Good. All right. David was doing a number of things there very well. Very well. Can anyone in the room tell me what some of those things were? What were some of the things David was doing very well there? What did he do? What did he do right? He engaged the seller pretty quickly. That's the first thing I noticed. He engaged him pretty quickly, mentally, with questions about the property, right? And then what'd you say, Kenny? What do you do after that?
Well, he was trying to get him to think about what does that look like, retirement to him? What is it going to be like? He was about to get into describing Florida, and as soon as Alan gave him he was going right to it, and take him to what it was going to look like. And why don't we get you there now?
He was still going to find the need or the greed, right? And then he was going to paint an offer like Bob Ross paints a painting. You know what I mean? Like Bob, he uses big words, big images. Now imagine I were able to get you. This is where David was going with this. Imagine I was able to offer you something today that got you out of there, not next year, but this month. Imagine that you was in Florida, toes in the sand, water splashing up on your ankles. Okay. Not a beer in your hand, because that's illegal on the beach, probably.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't want the guy going to the county jail overnight. All right. Because you paint this beautiful photograph, this beautiful picture in his mind. That's where he was going. So you get the information. He was gathering information to do this. So that's a wonderful thing he was doing right. Anything else we could say about what David was doing right? Anybody? Any good comments? Any negative comments? Any comments where David could have improved? Anything he could have done differently, better maybe?
Maybe more of the negative redirection, but like, yo, you know what? You're right, man. Just hold on to it till next year. You don't want to do this right now. That's just my thought.
Yeah, that could be. That could be. What do you think about that, David? Any thoughts on that? Did you try that at all, or?
I started to go into it. Like I started to say, like, well, it doesn't seem like,
Yeah.
And then that's when we were pausing it.
Okay, gotcha. Ed,
I was going to say, when you're talking about that as well, hey, you can stay there another year and then, take care of those monthly installments and all the bills again. I mean, if that's what you want to be doing, I understand. A lot of people I know want to, alleviate those expenses and want to move down to Florida as soon as possible. So if we could do that today, would you be interested? Tell me how I can help you get down to Florida today.
Right. Yeah.
I'm changing my hat to a travel agent right now. I think we can get you into 635 to Miami.
Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, that's the big words, the big impact words, the big pictures, the big imagery. Yeah, that's good. Switching your hat to a travel agent. You know, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes, and that's okay. Some folks just want to get out and get where they want to go. Is that a need or is that a greed? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. Could be a greed, could be a little bit of both. Maybe he has a need to get down there. Maybe he's got some family he needs to be near, or long lost love or something. Maybe he left his heart in Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale.
Why Florida? Yeah. Why'd you pick
Yeah,
Florida? You know,
that'd be a great.
what's going on down there?
That'd be a great question to ask the gentleman. You know,
I mean,
I think the hardest part for us is getting started with a follow up call. What do we say to get the fire burning again? Right? I think that's really the pressure that hits us. And I find the best way is to engage them right off the bat with a question. And when I pick up the phone and I'll dial the phone and the homeowner answers, I'll usually say something that sounds like we've already been talking for 30 to 45 seconds. And I'll say something like, I can't believe I missed it, but I wanted to call and congratulate you. This is Justin. I'm the investor that called you 3 weeks ago. I heard that I think I saw online that this property was sold. And I just wanted to let you know that if that doesn't work out, I'm interested in it still. Okay, they're going to say, it's not sold. Where'd you see that at? Okay, wonderful. It's not sold? Oh my goodness, that's great news. Are you ready to talk to me today about making an offer? I'd love to today. Okay. See how I'm engaging them in some way or another. All right.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be the way that you do it. It just is the way that I like to do it. Okay. I like to be a little bit mysterious, a little mysterious. Mark, love to have your opinion on this, sir. If you've got the ability to unmute and fellowship with us here a little bit. Where'd you go?
Mark's iPhone.
Mark's iPhone. He was like, peace. I'm
Yeah.
out.
There we go. Sorry.
There he is. What's going on, Mark?
Yeah, so I mean, I like, one of the things I do, I like to do that. I like to come in, you know, like with
Nah, you got broke up signal. That's too bad.
something like that. Or also when you're, and Michael's talking about taking good notes and stuff, it's followed up on, yeah, so.
We did actually, you know, it was like the
Can you hear me?
universe was, no, man, the universe was being cruel. And we heard like the very beginning of the sentence and then like the last two words, but the meat we lost.
Was not even there. Yeah.
Where's the beat?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. It got lost in the ether out there. But thanks for trying to share with us, Mark. Appreciate it, dude. Anybody else have a way of starting that conversation with a follow up that they'd like to share with us before we move on to a different topic? Last chance. Anybody?
Another thought I had, Justin, was,
Yeah.
you know, when you call them back, you're saying, you know, as you get them on the phone that you know, you've been waiting for them. So let it, you know, like, you're following up. Hey, you know, you're the house I wanted. I'm following up if we're able to do something today and just wanted to get back with you. You know, like, you know, I do invest. I've got one more purchase I'm looking to do, and you're the one I want. So how can we get that done today?
There you go. I like it. Yeah. You come off like a serious buyer. That's great. That's what you sounded like right there, Ed. Sound like
Hey,
a
Justin.
serious buyer. Yeah. Addie.
Hey, so I was thinking, can you call and say, I noticed the house is still listed and I want to send you a contract right now. I'll send you a contract and I want to get it done today.
Yeah, you could. I think that would work too. If that was kind of how you started the conversation. I think that's pretty direct and to the point, you know. I would follow it up with the traditional agenda, and I'd say, so before I send the offer over to you, I would like to ask you a few questions so I know what I'm doing. And then I'd also like you to ask me a few questions if you want. And if what we're talking about is not a good fit, it's okay for you to tell me no still. All right. But I really am excited. I'm kind of in a hurry. In fact, I'd like to buy something as early as today. You're probably not in that big of a hurry though, are you? Okay, you see where I'm already starting the negative redirections with these people. Well, no, I mean I'd take an offer today. Okay, and you, last time we talked, you were talking about needing to move to Florida. Is that still what the plan is? Okay, you see how I'm moving through the qualification section now with just a little bit of knowledge from the last conversation that I had with this person, but I'm using it to stage questions that kind of lead us through it again, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's how I like to do it. Anybody else with comments or anything on that? That's a great question. Super good question.
Another thought, Justin, is, after you talked to that person and you were going to be following, you found them worthy of a follow-up, there would have been a reason that you were following up with them. You would have been talking to them. Okay, well, you can't do it today. Well, why not? And then they're going to give you that, reason. And then you're going to be jotting that as, the follow-up opportunity. And then when you do follow up with them in that, 3-week period or whatever, find out if that, situation has been solved, or, is that, you didn't want to sell that day because you wanted this. Well, if it didn't happen, 3 weeks later, is it going to happen?
Yeah.
And that's what you got to find out, kind of, pull that Band-Aid off, start, pushing on that wound a little bit.
Yeah.
And if it got solved, and if not, you're either going to follow up with them again, or you're going to knock them off the books.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome that you said that. I want to show you a few index cards that I keep in front of me all the time. One of them says, define the customer's problem. Is that my job to do as the real estate investor calling the homeowner lead? Is it my job to define that homeowner's problem? Anybody?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that way you can provide solutions.
That's like the whole crux of the whole thing, right? But what is my next step? My next card says, now agitate that problem. Right?
Pull that
What-
Band-Aid.
What did Ed say? Pull the Band-Aid off and put your finger on it, right?
So my brother used to do.
Yeah. I went and got my booster shot when I was in like 3rd grade or whatever. The vaccination booster shots. Put it in my arm, and that night my grandma and me and my mom, we all went to the department store, and and my grandma, she was an old, cantankerous, wonderful lady. Loved her, but rough too. And she just kept elbowing that and hitting it. Oops, I'm sorry. It's funny. Man, I hated that. Agitating the problem. Grandma, don't do it. But then after you agitate the problem, this is what you do. You solve the problem.
Yeah.
If I were to make you an offer today that solved this problem, that solved that problem, that was a solution for you in this way and a solution in that way, if I did that today, is that something that you're ready to do with me today?
Yeah, remember what John Jackson said?
Tell me, man.
Everybody wants the enchiladas, but he's got the fajitas.
Yeah.
Least option in,
Yeah.
in his particular situation. He's like, hey, I know you want the enchiladas, that's plan A, but I've got fajitas over here. After enough follow-up, they're like, hey, tell me more about those fajitas.
Exactly. The fajitas appeal to the senses. Y'all see that?
Yep.
The fajitas do, right? How do fajitas appeal to the senses? Somebody tell me.
Makes me hungry.
They sell themselves. How do fajitas sell themselves so well?
Sizzle.
It's the sizzle. How do
My
you know?
question, my question for Alan is, did you was your follow-up after you had sent them an offer and they didn't like that offer? Or that's what, because I think there's a different approach, right? Versus if we had sent them an offer and they were still sitting on that offer and you wanted to know why, or if they had just, if you didn't even get an opportunity to get their email. Because I thought that one of the things we try to do is get their email so you can at least send them something. So that's my question, I guess.
Let me solve this problem for you. Once and for all, forever, and all deals. Sandra, can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Put an expiration date on all of your offers. They expire within 24 to 48 hours. That way you're not sitting around for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they still got your paperwork and they're like not calling you back. And then they do call you back and leave a message. Well, we're still looking at it and we're going to talk to so-and-so and we have other people want to come look at it. No, you're not holding me hostage like that. Right? So put a little expiration date on it. And then that way, the next time you do follow up with them, it's like you're following up with them for the first time again, because you got no groundwork laid on paperwork. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So you're saying, okay.
How about this, Justin? Give them a call, a day or two before that ends and tell them you apologize, but you got to pull the offer off the table because you're buying something else. And then you give them a call back, a day or two later, say, hey, you know what? That other deal didn't go through. If you'd still like to, move forward, I can help you.
So when you're saying put an expiration, you're not saying verbally, you're saying like written in the contract, whatever it is that offer that you send, you're putting an expiration in that document. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I put an expiration date in my offer.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Just put a lease option expiration date offer.
Okay.
Expiration date on that, whatever that is. If that's your lease option agreement or if that's your memo, either way, put an expiration date on it.
Okay.
I want to talk about them fajitas more, y'all. See, the fajitas, they sizzle and all that. Remember, we define the problem and then we agitate the problem and then we appeal to the senses a little bit. How do we appeal to the senses? Somebody tell me, how do we appeal to the senses? Somebody appeal to the senses right now. Somebody, anybody.
You got to make it more descriptive. The more they can see it, the realer it becomes to them.
Yeah, right. When that fajita, you don't even think about fajitas until all of a sudden, while you're talking to the person across the booth from you, you hear and then you're like ducking because you don't know what this is. Sounds like a Scud missile. And so they set it down at the guy's table near you and you look and it's steaming and it smells so amazing. It's teasing you, right? Okay, but here's the big one. Here's the one I want to show you guys. And I was mentioning this earlier. Use big impact words and phrases. I don't know. It's a green card. Sorry, guys. Use big impact words and phrases. Those Bob Ross images that you can paint. Remember Bob Ross? This is your world. You can paint anything you want. You can make anything you want here. You want a little tree right here. You want a happy little bush right here. In your conversation with that homeowner, right? You got to use these big images and big words. Imagine I were able to get your feet down there planted in the beach in Florida. And you're sitting on a big old beach towel with an umbrella and one of your favorite mocktails. Okay. What's that feel like to you down there? But you got friends down there you're going to be hanging out with? You like surfing? Is that what you're into? I'm starting to paint big pictures in his mind. If my offer were able to do that for you, that's not what you want to do today, is it? Okay. Beautiful Bob Ross images. Big images, big words, descriptive words. Who said descriptive? Was it David? Descriptive words. Okay. Descriptive words. You know what? Doing a deal with me today is going to be an enormous saving for you. Do you know how, Mr. Homeowner? No realtor's fees. That right off the bat. Yeah, exactly. No, that's enormous right there. You're going to love me. You see how I talk in these big flowery phrases and words. Okay, you got to practice this a little bit. Got to practice that a little bit. All right. Anybody have a question or thought or comment on that? I don't know how we got off on that. Maybe I shouldn't have got so deep on that, but sorry about it. I just have fun talking about it. That's what I do. That's what I do. Anybody else got comments or anything? I got more index cards we could go through. Y'all want to see a couple more?
Definitely. Yeah, those are solid.
Hey,
You know,
I got a good old Carlton Sheets one where you say, hey, I'm looking at another property, but I like yours better.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that too. That's a great way to start the conversation. Say it again, Mark, one more time.
I'm interested. I'm looking at another property, but I like yours better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just see what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of a takeaway, sort of scarcity thing,
Yeah. Here's a card. We talk about getting the reason why, don't we? We talk about why they want to sell, why they need to sell, why they want to sell. Have we ever talked about getting the reason why not? Right? What do I mean? Somebody tell me, what do I mean? Like we talk about finding out why. Have we ever thought about finding out why not? Why not?
Like why not sell?
Yeah. Why not sell? Sure. Why not? Why not just stay there? Yeah. Why not rent the place out? Why not call a realtor? Right? You don't want to rent your property out? Why not? It's an opportunity to find define the problem further when you find out why not, right? Every objection is an opportunity to find out why not. And then you further define the problem, then you agitate the problem, then you solve the problem, and then there you go. Okay. Jemiah says it shouldn't be hard to find a lease option deal. It's a good deal for the seller. I wonder why they would be hard to convince. Yep, that's true. Except for the fact that 99.9% of all homeowners they're thinking about cash offers initially. And not all homeowners are very savvy when it comes to these things either. They don't even understand what a lease option is. So, calling for rents is a great idea. You're right. That's a great idea. I challenge somebody in here, anybody this week. But if you're one of those folks that doesn't have anything cooking, if you got something cooking right now, then keep cooking by all means. If you don't have anything cooking, advertise for a tenant buyer. Build a faux ad. Just find a tenant buyer that has some cash, right? Find out what neighborhoods they want to live in. They want to do a rent to own. They want to put down that money. What neighborhoods, what's bedrooms and bathrooms, and then start finding houses and places for rent and calling them and get that deal put together. Okay. That's a great way to reverse engineer a deal using the for rents.
Yeah.
And using a tenant buyer that you already know has cash, starting with the reverse, working from tenant buyer to homeowner. I challenge you to do that.
How much cash do you think that they should have to do that type of deal, Justin?
I'd like to be all cocky and shit and say, well, 10%, 15%. But I'll tell you what, I've used this technique a few times when I needed cash, period. Right? So I found me a guy that put $800 down, and then he had another 2,500 in like 2 weeks. And I was like, cool, that's all I need.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I've done it to make money. All right. And you could, but it's a typical deal. You can get, 3.5%, 5%, 10% sometimes, maybe a little more even,
Sure.
But I went for I was doing that technique because I needed to find the money, know that I was working for that money. And then I knew that if I called enough landlords, I would find a homeowner in there somewhere, or a landlord that was willing to work with me, and we would do the deal. I could share some of the down payment with them even. Okay, it's not going to kill me. I'm still going to make this money. I got to make my bills. Yeah. Anybody ever got bills they got to pay? Or is that just me? So, necessity is the mother of invention, they say, right? So some of those processes I guess I invented in my life because I had the necessity for finding that money and getting to a deal. Think about how easy that would be, though. If you had a tenant buyer that had $20,000 to put down, 10,000, 15,000, whatever it be, and they were solid people, and they told you the beds and baths and the areas and the school zones they like and whatnot, and you went and you researched. Now, hopefully it's not like one neighborhood. Okay, that's going to be hard. But if they're okay with living in an area of town, okay, that's better. There's some larger school districts and there's some smaller school districts. So you'll have to still know your tenant buyer here. But if they had that kind of money, 10 or 15,000 down, do you think it would be hard to find a landlord somewhere in that district where you could call them and say, hey, listen, I've got a tenant buyer teed up, ready to go. I can put 7,500 down in your pocket if we can do this shit today. Or whatever. We'll run background checks and then do it. Okay, how's that? Is that cool? All right. Yeah. All right. So
An interesting thought too, Justin, is what if you pull landlord lists? Doesn't even have to have necessarily a listing. Just ask if they have any vacancies.
dude, that's a great point. I've never tried that.
Yeah.
That might be something I need to venture out into and guinea pig a little bit for everybody. But what if you got a list of vacant landlord properties like that, and you just sent them a letter and said, hey, would you like to fill it with one of my tenant buyers? I'll split the fee with you.
Right.
I bet the phone would ring, dude. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I need to.
Yeah. It just seems like there would be a halfway decent response off of that. I mean,
You think?
I
Yeah.
haven't tried it either. It's just something that came to me just now. But I mean, it could be. It doesn't even have to be a tired landlord, and it also doesn't even have to be a list that that the properties are flagged as vacant, because we don't know when their leases are up.
Right.
They might have 20 properties, and on PropStream it shows everything's occupied, but maybe 7 of them are going to be, coming up in a month or two. Doesn't mean you can't sign a contract with the buyer today and have it execute, just roll right on top of each other.
I think it's a fine idea. Yeah. And
I've never, again, I've not tried that, but it just seems like that could work very well. It's like it's free marketing.
Folks out there might be thinking, well, why would a landlord say yes to that? Well, some of these landlords are doing first month's rent and then like $3.99 deposit. Like they're not getting a lot of cash up front. And here you're offering them an opportunity to put several thousand in their pocket. Not a bad way to make money. I'm going to make how much more money? Man, why would I say no to that? My need and my greed is speaking to me loud and clear here. What's the possibility that they'll buy? Well, the possibility that they'll buy is, I don't know. Roll the dice. Could be not. I don't know. How do you like playing the roulette wheel? Is it black or red? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Spin
I've
it.
seen all sorts of different numbers too. 30% if you don't do anything.
Yeah.
But like John Jackson, he was on the show a few weeks ago, and he said he has, like a 95 or 98% of his buyers do qualify and cash out his, or tenant buyers do qualify and cash out the actual seller, because he's taking them through the qualification process, right? And I don't know what all of, what's all involved with his process. I don't know if he's having them go through credit repair, talk to a mortgage broker. I have to imagine he is doing all of those things. But I mean, if you are hand-holding them, or you have a process to do that, or maybe you're doing it and helping them with it, or you have someone on your team that can do it, I mean, why not?
We've got a guy coming on in 2 Saturdays. He just booked last night, man. I forgot to mention this to you.
Yep.
What's his name? It slipped my mind right now.
Paul Ritter.
Paul Ritter.
Yeah. I just talked to him yesterday.
John Ritter's brother.
Is he?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I just talked to him yesterday. Sent him the link. But yeah, I've got a deal. I'm working with him, with one of my potential tenant buyers. So if that conversation came up, and so that'll be.
Tell us who John Ritter. I mean, not John Ritter. Tell us who Paul Ritter is, and that he'll be on in 2 weeks, Saturday. Yeah. But why is that important for us?
Sure. So Paul Ritter, he owns a company called ScreenTheTenant.com. And Jesse Mills had talked about part of the pre-screening process, basically setting the seller up and setting the buyer up for success. And that's really part of what Paul Ritter does. He does the background checks, the credit check, income verification. He does credit repair as well. So he has a full comprehensive credit consultation that he will go through essentially with that potential tenant buyer. And once he's all finished, he'll create a report and send it to your email. And then of course it's up to you to, if he says, and he understands specifically lease options. I mean, he's recommended by some of the top real estate coaches. I mean, he's even spoken on stage with Ron LeGrand, and so that kind of tells you he's very, very highly recommended in this space. So
that's cool.
I think it'll be really good. I'd recommend every single tenant buyer that comes in that's a potential prospect to go through ScreenTheTenant.com, because Paul knows what to look for. He's been doing this business for a long time, and
cool.
It'll be a wealth of knowledge to have him on here. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah,
I'm stoked about that.
Yeah,
that'll be good. Then ScreenTheTenant.com.
Yeah.
Jesse Mills talked about him 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show here, and he'll be a guest on ScreenTheTenant.com. Paul Ritter in 2 weeks. Don't miss that, everybody. Next week we have a guest too. Don't remember exactly who it is.
Sure.
I'll have to look, y'all. I got a calendar. I got a calendar full of people. And then hopefully after that we'll have Burton Alacondo back on. I want him to do a mobile app of PropStream demo, but because the mobile app, that's like a whole other animal almost.
Sure.
And then after that, I'd like to get Brad Pickett back on.
Yeah.
Brad Pickett, so he can kick everybody's asses and everything,
Yeah, Brad's great, man. I like Brad a lot.
Yeah,
one of the first guys I ever talked to when I got into business.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun dude. I like him. We've been here a little over an hour, guys. It's basically an hour-long program, but we we'll stay as long as we need to facilitate answering your questions.
I got a question for everybody. Is
Yeah.
anyone doing something that's a new technique? Anyone find anything unique in this business space that's working for them?
Interesting. So, anybody have any secret sauce they want to spill? How you working? How's it?
I made an
popping?
offer yesterday on a kind of off a Steve thing where he's talking about the option deal where the guy had it was a little bit less, but I just said, hey, well, what if I was just to do an option on it until I can figure out the funding? And he's all, well, okay. So just trying to do a little bit more of the straight option stuff.
Yeah. Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We're supposed to have a session on that, I believe, on options this Monday night. Am I right? Anybody?
Okay.
Anybody
Mark,
hear anything different?
quick on that. So basically you're going through it, you're approaching that initially as a wholesale deal, is that right? And then
Yeah.
you're
Well, I
just
went through
locking
the
it up?
whole, I went through the whole, gamut of questions to kind of see where he was at. And
Sure.
I wasn't quite sure about the property. I was looking it up kind of as we were there, and like he wanted like 175 for it, but there were some other properties and then pretty close by that were like really expensive. So actually, Alan, this is the dude that you called on the other day. So on the Thursday show, I ended up calling him. So it's so he didn't really want to do anything less. He he all of a sudden too. So when Alan called me to do a lease option with 4 payments, so it was like $5,000. And then when I talked to him, he wanted 50 grand down all of a sudden. So so he changed his whole tune. But anyway, and he didn't really want to do a cash deal, wasn't going to come off it too much. But so I just said, hell, well, what if we just did an option and kind of throw it out there and see what happens, and so I'm going to hopefully send him a contract today just for straight option, and see if we can, like, even if we make $1,000 on it, it's still worth it probably.
Well, Mark, that's an interesting thought too. That was something that I saw Sean Terry do. He was talking about it on YouTube a while back, and put a deal under contract. Didn't really have any business putting it under contract. It was way higher than whatever, but let's just use that 175 number. But what happened is he wanted to make, I think, at least 5 to 10,000 on it. So what he did is he marketed it out, Facebook Marketplace, wherever he could get it out, and started getting offers. And he'd call the seller up, hey, John, just wanted to let you know, had an offer coming of 140. I know it's a little bit off, but just wanted to just give you an update. Didn't necessarily even offer him that 140. Just wanted to give you an update. Got an offer of 140. A few days go by. Hey, John, wanted to let you know I got another offer and it's 152. Just want to give you that update. I'll keep putting it out there, but that's the latest number I've got. Well, eventually he got up to about, I think, $10,000 away from where he actually wanted, and said, I'm not going to go less than this. And he said, you know what? If they can do this, I'll do the deal. And so he actually renegotiated against his lowest number, and he was able to make a $7,000 assignment fee off of it.
Nice.
So yeah, options can be very powerful. I've not done them myself, but I know guys like Sean, and of course Brandon Simmons, who's been on here numerous times, are definite fans of that. So it can be a very, very good solution. So I'll be interested to kind of see how that deal goes. So definitely keep us posted on it, Mark.
For sure. Yeah, it's the cool part about it is like things change over time. So it could turn into something else, a lease option deal, or or a wholesale deal or whatever. So it's kind of a good way just to get it locked up and sort of figure out. And that's kind of what I think Steve's guy's gonna be talking about on Monday. So I'm like super interested to check that out and hear what he has to say about all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great.
me too. If you're not in the VIP club, you should be. Realestatewholesalersclub.com. That's how you get in. We're just a family of active investors that help. We coach each other every day. We work with each other every day. I want to let Sandra know what a great question that you had. The very next card in my card list here was, oh, wait a minute. Yep. Require, hold on. Where am I at? Require immediate action with deadlines and or a premium if it's a tenant buyer. Okay, they need to put money down. But if it's a homeowner, you got to have deadlines, require immediate action. Okay. But then with that being said, you better also make it easy for them to respond or buy in. Okay. Just a thought. Just a thought. So you were right there on the progression of the next cards in my list here. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, Sandra. Smart lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Land only guests. Are we interested in flipping land, raw land, bare land? Anybody? Everybody? What's the general consensus here? Nobody?
Maya?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do too, because there's a
Yeah, I
lot of
do.
stuff out here, definitely, that we could, especially these weed properties, man. There's some big money to be made on those ones. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to a few folks that are really powerhouses in like land only deals. Um, you know, meaning that's their core focus in business, and maybe they don't do any houses at all. I have had the chance to talk to a few folks. In fact, one guy I know, he was on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine, funny enough. But I asked him to come on. He didn't feel confident enough to hop on yet. So, but I'll keep my ears open and do a little bit of marketing and see if I can find some folks that would fit that bill. I know we're always trying. Today we were supposed to have a mobile home guest who was going to talk specifically about mobile homes on land. Of course, that didn't work out, so we'll re-engage and see if we can get that rebooked. But yeah, if there's any specific type of strategy you guys want to hear about or know about that maybe Justin and I don't know, happy to bring someone on or try to find someone.
Yep. Let us know.
I'll say the land one.
Yeah, land sounds
I have
good.
interest on that one.
Okay.
I have a basic concept of it.
Sure.
But
I'd like to come up on it myself, Melissio. I want to come up on it too, especially when it comes to land valuations. Okay, valuating the land. You know,
I could tell you what I know. I mean, I just yeah. So I'm assuming there's a lot of competition.
Absolutely.
We're having a hard time hearing you, man.
Yeah, I have my mask on. Sorry. Next question. I'll write it down in the chat.
Yeah, you're good.
Are there any questions or any other comments or anything before we wrap up today? Anything? We don't want to leave anybody wanting, you know.
Hey, real quick, Justin.
Yeah.
How do you circumvent the seller asking for proof of funds? I didn't see that on your objections cheat sheet.
Yeah. Are we talking about a cash offer?
Yeah, cash offer. Yes.
Yep. Cash offer. There's a couple ways you can do proof of funds. Okay. One is you can have a hard money lender give you a proof of funds, and that's basically free. It looks like Jemiah here says he's a hard money broker and he can get you a pre-approval letter anytime. Okay. Now that will be for a loan. Okay. There are two types of proof of funds. One for lending, that's that one. And that one you can get, it's not based on your credit or nothing. Okay.
Right.
Then the second type is a bank statement, basically proof of cash money. All right. Or a letter from a bank. okay, saying that the cash money is there. That you can locate from building a relationship with an investor buyer in your local market. Okay. You get to know them and you say, hey, I want to make offers and give you exclusive first look at them when I get them under contract. Can I use your proof of funds? Well, if you give us exclusive first look, sure. Okay. It worked out there. It looks like there's one right there. There's a proof of funds right there in the chat for the lending in the Zoom room. So, yeah. So a couple ways to do it there. The best way though is to not make it a big issue, if you can. If you have a realtor wanting to know, that's what they're paid to do. Okay. They're paid to find out if you have proof of funds. Remember, wholesalers, we usually work with off-market properties. Okay. So homeowners don't always ask for proof of funds. If you have a homeowner that's asking for proof of funds, okay, then you have an option of either one, providing them proof of funds, or you can try to talk them out of it. Well, I don't understand. What do you mean proof of funds? I don't know. What do you mean? I'm confused. Why do you need a bank statement? You want to look at my bank account? I don't understand this. I want to buy your house. I'm not trying to lose my identity. Okay. You might give them a run around and get away with it, but the best way is to be a professional and work it out and get your proof of funds.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the real advice from the real guy that does it. All right.
Yeah. That's great.
That's not the book answer, but proof of funds is not really it's not really worth anything much. It's like having a college degree. If you got a 2-year degree like I do, it's not worth anything. Okay. But it is important and for some people to know sometimes in my life that I at least have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's proof of funds. All right. Any other thoughts or comments, guys? Any other thing?
And I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Anybody have any success with buying a property right before auction, like calling up the owner right when you know the auction's coming?
Say that again, man.
So there's a property that's going to auction. Has anybody ever bought a property right before, like gotten in touch with the homeowner right before the auction and said, listen, well, basically Vernon was talking about something on Arturo's show with the cash cow thing where he's like, I can't offer you this, but I can offer you something else. I can offer you like $5,000 to get out of there. And then, I'll assume the mortgage. But anybody have any success with buying right before?
Yeah, you got to have an attorney lined up.
I have an attorney lined up.
Yeah.
All right. So you got to track that person down and you got to have a conversation with them.
Okay.
And you got to make sure that they're not going to file bankruptcy because that's always their out.
Okay.
That's
the attorney
thing.
puts in a contract? Or
What'd you say?
how do you make sure that they don't file for bankruptcy?
Okay, one of the concepts that I had to have drilled in my head is that the attorney works for you. You get legal advice from the attorney, but the attorney works for you. So you're going to have to tell the attorney what to do.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. But you got to make sure that the property owner is not going to file for bankruptcy.
How do you ensure that?
You got to have a conversation with them. You got to have a conversation with them. Matter of fact, that would be the first thing out of your mouth is that, are you going to leave the property? Are you going to file for bankruptcy? What are you doing? That's the first conversation. If they say they're going to file for bankruptcy, then that's what it is. You might as well stop the conversation there and keep them on file and make sure that they went through it.
Okay.
Are going to go through. Need about a 2-week gap. You're going to need about a 2 weeks or something like that to get all the paperwork together and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should link up then off chat
Yeah, I got.
instead of, because it sounds like he's got some jewel to drop, but you guys should go ahead and talk off,
All right, we can do that. Just hit me up.
I'll hit you up, Vernon.
All right, but Justin,
yeah,
maybe for another show, you, Michael Batista, who else? Mark Richards, Victor, Arturo. What I see from all of you guys, you guys are always learning different techniques, studying different ways to do business. And being a wholesaler, being a real estate investor seems to be a process, not a overnight thing. Maybe one day you can do a show on something like that, and you guys explain or share your process of you becoming, the investor that you are now.
Your evolution of how you got into real estate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the next two cards. This one says practice, practice, practice. in search of aggressive excellence. Aggressive excellence. I don't know.
Yep.
That'd be a great topic. Let's talk about it sometime. Let's do it this week. It sounds good. You guys ready for it? Everybody ready? Mark,
Nice
Michael,
yeah.
the others,
Love it.
everybody, Victor.
Always ready.
Victor's busy today. Miss you, Victor. Miss you, Arturo.
He's in
today.
California. So.
All you guys. Yeah. If there's nothing else, we'll wrap up here. I really appreciate everybody being here. Sandra, Kimberly, Bob, Jerry, Addie, Rick, LaShonda, Ed. I really appreciate we have a strong female presence here now. We love it, guys and gals. Thank you both for being here. There for a while, it was just
over 200 websites that you had no idea about.
It was just like me and a couple other dudes. And now it's like, look, we're like a family of people that love each other. We're so beautiful. I love us. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you want to be a part of our club here, if you want to grow together, you need some daily coaching and support and all that, you can be a part of it. It's realestatewholesalersclub.com. Really, really affordable to sign up. It's a ridiculously low price. But don't judge it based on that, because that's not what it is. All right. All right. Love you guys. Anything else? Any last thing before we sign off? Okay. Who is the contact for property going into auction? Malesio was asking.
The seller.
Yeah, it would be, right? It'd be the homeowner.
Be the seller. Yeah. Homeowner. Yeah.
Prior
that
to the
point.
auction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? It's good to see everybody. Everybody, Vernon, Mark, Alan, Malesio, Jemiah, Michael, David, everybody. I'll see you later. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay healthy. All right.
Thanks, Justin.
Go out there, get busy.
Appreciate it, guys.
Practice. Aggressive excellence. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.